Hello garden lovers. Well, it is a beautiful day for gardening today. It really is. It's crisp, it's sunny. We've had some quite serious weather recently. It's been cold, we've had frosts at night, and we've had quite a lot of rain as well. So yeah, so I've been acquiring plants. Things have been turning up. Look at that. You remember I went to Arvensis perennials? Well, I've had a delivery of about 500 perennials. Yeah, I haven't started placing them at all yet. I've also had, I don't know, about 1,200 bulbs that are they're in the potting shed. They're keeping nice and cool and dark. And what else have I had? Oh yeah, trees, some big trees. I've had 3 Cornus kousa, Milky Way delivered, root balled. Oh, and there's a lovely hydrangea over there as well. But we'll go into that a little bit later. I'm just gonna, well, I'm not gonna make an apology because I'm always apologising. Why should I, really? Eh? But I'd just like to say it's all gonna be a bit random, this film. It's gonna jump time zones. There's gonna be no continuity whatsoever when it comes to clothing. You know, one day I might have a beard, next day I might have a moustache, and then I might shave it all off, who knows? So yes, it's all gonna be random, cut together, so let's not worry about all of that business. But I've had 3 beautiful, large, multi-stem Cornus turn up. Well, not turn up. I'll drop in a little bit about going to the nursery. I went to Deepdale nurseries, who supply us and Modular with a lot of fantastic trees, and I picked these out. So, you know, maybe I'll drop a little bit of that film in right now. I'm looking for 3 that are going to work together here. You can see the multi-stem shape. That's really nice. That's really nice. And that's really nice. And I think I've made my decisions. So it's really nice to go to a nursery and see the trees before you buy, obviously picking them out, especially when you're investing in. They are my big ticket items, let me just say that. They're not cheap, but they are the 3 big ticket items in this garden. So I see it as an investment. I've always said, you know, there are worse things to spend money on than plants in your life, worse things to be addicted to, but for me, they're going to make instant impact and just where I need it. And while I'm in the woodland, I've been doing a lot of work on the woodland as well, which is really hard graft, and I'm finishing that off today. A mow and raking, and maybe I'll go into a little bit of what I've been doing or how I've done it now. I don't just garden on a day like this, but obviously when it's like this, it makes it much more pleasurable and invites you to get outside. Look, I can't walk past this without having a little look. Pruner subhertella autumnalis rosea. I think it is rosea. I've got 3 of them. Yeah, there's another couple here, and lovely autumn colour. But the ones that get full sun will colour up better because of, you know, the sugars in the leaves and all that business. There's some science to it. You haven't come here for any science, have you? This medlar as well is putting on a really good autumn display. Yep. Now, okay, so I'm in the woodland area with my beautifully opened up views now. More light coming through to the woodland. Now this woodland has fantastic English bluebells in spring, and then there's good orchids. Had some fantastic orchids this year actually, just a purple spotted orchid, and they look great. But now I'm going to do some management. Oh, look at the light. Look at the light. Oh, it's just fabulous, isn't it? It really is. It just streams through here. That was the view I never had before behind me. Open that up. I know I'm still pleased with myself. I'm still smug. Anyway, so I need to manage this woodland a little bit because there are some grasses coming in here. Grasses will outcompete some wildflowers and carpet the ground, and it's a sign that the soil is rich. So I'm going to cut the grass, I'm going to rake it all off so that it doesn't go back into the ground to feed it, you know, put that nitrogen back into the ground. I'm trying to deplete it and also weaken the grasses. And I've decided to go physically with it. Yeah, I was going to sow some yellow rattle, but I've decided not to. I'm just going to cut it and then rake it all off. Ideally, I'd have a mower that had a catcher, but I haven't. I've got this thing, which is fantastic, I've got to say, really pleased with it. I've got this machine, so I can set the mower with the settings slightly raised, so I can cut it, because normally it mulches, it's a mulch mower, so it puts it back in, but I don't want that. So I'm going to cut it on quite a high setting, and then I'm going to rake it by hand. So first thing to do is basically cut it all, and let's do that, shall we? If I cut it on one of those speedy things, you'll get an idea. But it's a dry day. I should really have done this in September. There were some really lovely dry days. I could have cut it, I could have had it all raked up. It would have been beautiful. It would have been easier, but you know, I was doing other stuff, as you know. But it's a way of maintaining this woodland in a sort of wildflower meadow way, I guess. Well, that was the easy part of the job. It looks a bit manicured through here now. It looks a bit weird. It looks too much like a garden rather than a woodland, but that will change come spring. But yes, the perennials have died down. The orchids are perennials, they've died down, all their foliage have gone. The bluebells haven't emerged yet, so I'm not cutting off any of their leaves, so it's the perfect time to do it. And yeah, in an ideal world, I'd have a mower that also catches all the clippings, but I don't. And this is a good time also to rake everything off, and you're sort of scarifying the ground beneath and making soil, exposing it so that things like the orchid seed can get in there, getting rid of the grass, and hopefully other wildflowers and perennials will start seeding in there. I have got some bulbs. I might plant some bulbs through here this autumn. Not quite sure where I'm going to put those at the moment, but it'd be quite beautiful to have some bulbs. There's not a massive range of bulbs in here. There's snowdrops, which are great, but you don't plant snowdrops in the autumn. You plant them in the green after Christmas in January, February. We all know that, don't you? Anyway, this is the tool for the job here. It's basically a curved pitchfork. I really like it. They're really hard to get hold of as well. You go online, you don't see them in the UK. I bought this just in a garden centre in France. Cheap, you know, like 25 euros or something, but it's perfect for something like this because it will rake up large amounts of debris in one go, and it's also, yeah, slightly exposing that ground, so it's really good. Because normally a lot of people would use this, and I might use this as well. This is a wire rake, but it just gets a bit clagged up. You know, with stuff like this, it's harder work. I've got to say, much harder work, and it gets all clagged up. And all that debris that I rake off, I'll pile up somewhere away from here. I'll let it break down. It's got grass in it, it's got grass seed in it, so it's fine for sort of rough mulching. You know, maybe the hedges around the edges. Oh, hedges around the edges. Yeah, just mulching around because all that organic matter is still good for the garden, and I don't want to have to take it anywhere, compost it. I'll just sort of pile it up somewhere around here. Make my life as easy as possible. But like I say, I'm going to have a go at it now. Over the next few days, I'm going to keep raking this off. As I always say, it's a bit like going to the gym, but it's much better than that. And then all these leaves that are going to drop over the next few days, there's a bit of a rush on to get them up before the leaves. So look at that, I mean already, in a minute, I've got a big pile. And I'm just going to leave piles all the way around here rather than trying to create one big pile. And then I'll come around with the big barrow, back of the mower, chuck it all in there and take it away. But I'm not going to rake it all necessarily today. There's a caveat because I know how much work this is going to be. So the next 2 or 3 days. This is interesting. Well, interesting to me and hope to you. That's a clump of grass come out, roots and all. And there's a lot of that coming out. And it's because the ground is moist now. So actually it was a stroke of genius to leave it until the ground was much wetter underneath. It's been raining a little bit the last week. If I'd done it a month ago, it'd be really dry and I wouldn't be getting nice clumps of grass roots out like that and really weakening the grass, which is the aim. And then all the leaves from this oak especially, I'm just going to leave down on the ground. The worms are going to take it down. All that leaf litter, it's fantastic. Build up the worm population, brilliant. What eats worms? Birds, they'll be coming in as well and keeping this ecosystem going that Charlie started off. So yeah, anyway, enough chat, more graft. Whoa. Well, there you go. I think I've just about done it. A couple more piles and that'll be it. So I had another pass with the mower set lower and then it raked off really easily, the excess stuff. So it's pretty rough and ready, but the idea is I've got as much organic matter out of there as possible to deplete the soil, and the oak has still got a lot of leaves to drop. And yeah, it just sort of looks tidier, it's cleaner, and as with all gardening, it's about how this area responds really. So I'm going to keep a very keen eye on it next year. Hopefully I've done it some good. Hopefully the orchids and the bluebells and the primroses will all thrive in there, and some other things will come in as well, because there's more light coming in after the tree surgery work. And now, yeah, taking all that grass away feels really good. Might have to do it every year, might have to do it every other year, might do half one year, half the next year. I just, yeah, like I say, going to see how it all responds. Oh man, what a day. I would hope that things are going to improve next year with the woodland. Yeah, the bird bath has been used beautifully. I'm back to pretty much where I started here now. And this is a really big decision, because this multistem Witch Hazel behind me, I think I've made the decision that it's going to go, and I feel really bad about it. I've taken other trees out in this garden, but I feel really bad about this one because it is a beautiful plant, and I know that Charlie, previous owner, absolutely loved it. The thing is, the last 2 or 3 years since I moved in, things have deteriorated with it. It's got some bracket fungus on the base, and that's not a good sign at all. And I think there's a bit of splitting down the bottom. There's some damaged bark down there as well, so I don't think it's going to recover. It's sort of been getting weaker and weaker every year, and this year there wasn't much foliage on it. And I'm going to move away. I don't like to talk about it right in front of it because I'm going to cut it down in a minute. So yeah, it's got bracket fungus at the base. That might be a result of us putting the path in right next to it. I don't think so though. I was sort of waiting to see if it recovered a little bit this year. And with these corners, these 3 big corners, we're not going to even really notice that it's gone. And if I did choose a plant to put exactly in that spot, it wouldn't be that hazel. It's fantastic when it flowers in January and it puts on really good autumn colour, but it's very fleeting, and otherwise it sort of looks a bit bare, it looks a bit straggly, and it's quite prominent because it's very near the house, so it's one of the first things that you see. Anyway, that's my justification, and have a go at me if you want, but I do think its days are numbered anyway. So I've got to imagine the garden without that in place when I place these 3 corners. That's the critical thing, and it is, you know, it's really quite a big plant. It's quite a big plant there. It's actually similar size to the Cornus that I bought. It's a little bit more spreading, but I feel really bad about it actually. But I'm going to do it. So here goes. Now a little tip, if you're looking to take all the roots out, which I am, I've got a mattock pickaxe, I've got an axe as well if I need it, is to leave something on top to lever it out with. So if you cut it really hard down, right down to the ground, it just makes it a bit trickier. So you can always take stuff off later. But obviously you need access to the roots. So, you know, 1 or 2 of these would be really good. Anyway, I'm just delaying the inevitable here. I have been thinking about it even more, and I've decided it is definitely the right thing to do. Definitely, from so many different perspectives. Okay, here it goes. Kathy can't watch. She's hiding inside. I don't blame her. This is a great little tool. Okay. Well, I don't know how many years old it is. Many years old. And yeah, that's all it takes. A few minutes and it's down. Okay, start digging. Right, okay, so excuse the heavy breathing. It's quite hard graft this. I've taken a few branches off. I'm basically digging a trench. I'm digging a trench all the way around it, okay, all the way around, and I'm nibbling away at the soil. So I'm lightening the root ball at the same time, sort of searching out the roots, and then when I find a root, I chop it. If it's little, I'll chop it with a spade. If it's big, I need the axe. Yes, as you know, I do all my own stunts, as I've told you before. So this is real sweat on the coldest day of the year. I've taken a couple of layers off, but you know, I feel great. Well, I don't feel great about taking that tree, but I've definitely made the right move, because that is rotten. The deeper I go, the more rot I find. In here, you can see underneath this, that is soft, that is rotten. Okay, so that's the main, I think that's the main tap root going down, and that is rotten pretty much all the way through. And again, you can see that that's that bracket fungus. So, and there's more fungus coming out here, and there's more there, and it's all emerging. So I am doing the right thing, no doubt about it. This plant is not going to live that much longer. Don't feel bad about it. Let's move on. Tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up, look out that window, and it's going to be, hey, like what? What's going on? But fortunately, I've got some new plants to put in. So yeah, I've dug all the way around it, and now I just felt it sort of going. Well, you can hear it. Oh, hear that? One big crunch, and that is because it is rotten. Yeah, that taproot is completely rotten. Completely. So that's quite interesting. Now, this was an incredibly wet part of the garden before I put some drainage in, but you know, it's been wet around here. This is, you know, it's a very wet part of the country, so I wouldn't have thought that was it. I think it got damaged, and then some of this fungi got in. Some of the bracket fungus got in, because it mainly attacks weak plants. So if it's, see, a split or a weakness, there's actually damaged bark around the bottom here as well. and that's where it'll get in. So if you've got a really healthy tree, it's very unlikely to attack it really. I'll show you what's going on. Look at that. Completely rotten. And I'm digging all this by hand. Yeah, because if I'd known I was going to take it out when the digger was on site, I would have used the digger, obviously, because I reckon 1 or 2 scoops and that would have done it. But I haven't got access to this area now with the digger. I have got a digger coming after Christmas because we're going to move on with Justin and Craig. When you're gardening, you just got to keep looking up and see the effect that's had. Well, you can see where it was there, and now I'm going to put a cornus. I've actually dug a hole, I've dug 2 holes. I'm going to put one there. I'll show you the holes that I've dug. A couple of days ago I dug the holes. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to place, I've got one here, and there's going to be one about there, which is going to put shade onto the patio terrace. And then the other one, I've put a stake there because I don't want them in a completely straight line here. I want them to curve around so that when you're in the house, you know, there's 3 of them, your eyes just bobbing from one to the other. Oh wow, sorry, I know I just keep going on about the light, but I'm slightly obsessed with it. This miscanthus is fabulous, as are those pennisetum that you've seen before. And now, just as a little detour, yet another one. This is pennisetum macruorum, which I've got 30 of them. Hey, look at that. Beautiful. They're going to be around this side of the garden. And this side of the garden is going to be very naturalistic in its planting. It's more ornamental where I just was, but this is the view from my living room, and I've got to work with it. So a lot of grasses, a lot of simple planting, mass planting. Talked about it a while ago, but I will, as I plant, I'll talk everyone through it. I'll talk myself through it really. I've got the plants here. I've basically got the paints. I've got the canvas, and it's just a case of whacking them all in now. I feel really good now about today, and just, you know, taking advantage of a day like this and gardening all day long. I was feeling, well, the sort of winter blues. There's been some sad things going on recently, and gardening, you know, people talk about mindfulness and well-being. I've talked about it before. I just call it gardening, and it is really wonderful. I've done a lot of destruction here in this garden today, taking out that hazel, the witch hazel, but now it's on to creative endeavour. It's about planting, it's about tweaking, it's about enjoying, it's about the 3-dimensional space, engaging with wildlife. There's birds everywhere today. Anyway, I'm rambling on as usual. Car goes by. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, and hopefully it won't be that long. In fact, Alon's coming next week to help me. Alon, I need you. Get over here.